Hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Fashion Bunker. Finally, I get to review Chanel's Paris Deauville. As you can see, half the bottle is empty. I don't even see if it's focusing or not. Whatever. Imagine, visualize it. It's overlit, but it's there. Half the bottle is empty. I started using this June 2nd. The time I'm doing this review, we're around, when I'm filming now, around the 20th. So it's about, 18 days of usage. Okay, there's a lot to say. Let's just cut to the chase. Pouches, huge dilemma with these pouches. People ordering this perfume online, the box comes in this pouch. It says Paris Deauville, same for Paris Venice and Paris Biarritz. The online Chanel store does not send these. You get these in the beauty boutiques, in the Chanel beauty boutiques. I think Chanel went cheap on that. I mean, in terms of perfume review, before we get to the perfume review, let's review the whole package. This pouch should have been given to everybody. It shouldn't have been just some beauty boutique exclusive. I think made quite a few people upset. Not a good move, Chanel. You should release these with every official Chanel online store or Chanel boutique or Chanel beauty boutique purchase, at least, you know. Anyway, okay, that's that. I use it a lot. I have received confirmation from several Chanel sales associates across the globe, because I also get a lot of your information through direct messages on Instagram and emails and what have you. So thank you very much for that. We are the best community out there. The Fashion Bunker family knows where it's at. And yes, these are eau de colognes. They were supposed to be called like the eau de cologne Les Eaux de Chanel. But marketing wanted it, you know, to be an eau de toilette because I guess it justifies more the price. The price is not bad, around 112 euro per bottle, 125 ml. That brings me to the point where you cannot travel with these in an airplane if you're gonna have them as a carry-on, because 100 ml bottle is maximum amount of liquid per bottle that you could use as a carry-on, that you could take on board with you. So you would have to kind of leave this in the check-in luggage, the luggage that you check in that goes in under the plane, but it's a bit risky. The glass is relatively thin, and I'm kind of scared traveling with these for them to break or get stolen. So 100 ml would be better, or to make them kind of refillable or openable. And Chanel should, in my opinion, also give you an option like an empty bottle that you could kind of fill, like a 50 ml that you could constantly, and make these even bigger. Let's even 300 ml of these, and then kind of pour them into smaller, but not 7 ml, because when you travel, you still need to use this a lot. That's why I've been using this one a lot. We'll get to that also in the review, but at least a 50 ml to take with you when you travel, that you could always, you know, pour the 300 ml bit by bit into the 50 ml. And you need the 50 ml because you're going to overspray anyway. The first time I tested Paris Deauville, I was immediately in love with it. The dry down really gave me, as you could see, and I will post the link in the description box under this video, as well as links at the end of this video. It immediately, in the dry down, the first time I heard it, gave me Chanel Cristal and Chanel number 19 vibes. It's from that same family. A lot of you have been writing me that you, since you have purchased it as well, that you do not sense out the Cristal and number 19 vibes. I think you need, it's a chemistry thing for sure. You also need to test it in warm weather and cold weather, and you need to use a lot of it. And it does pop out, that Cristal number 19 vibe. Definitely from the same family. There's one particular ingredient here. Sorry, I'm moving on my little bouncy perfume review ball. There's a particular ingredient in here that is that unites, especially Deauville with number 19. We'll get to that as well. Let's spray it on. And you see, I just literally go with it, you know, all over the place. And I refresh throughout the day. In Baroque times, and even prior to that, there was not really a concept of bacteria and viruses, and hygiene, personal hygiene was not something that people lived the way we live it today. In some countries we still don't live it the way it should be lived, whether it be because the country doesn't offer that sort of hygiene, or because it's a cultural thing as well. There's many reasons. But anyway, fact is, there are bacteria and viruses, and there are ways of disinfecting yourself to avoid getting infected or sick. But in Baroque times, the rich, they would literally use cologne 4 liters approximately a day. They would bathe in it. So the concept, and I think Chanel should have been honest enough to call these eau de colognes and kind of explain to the potential consumer that they're meant to be used and just to refresh yourself, almost like a fan, but in alcohol form with a wonderful soft scent, and to just kind of like respray over and over and over again throughout the day, because the concept of it is to refresh yourself, especially in summer, hence the reason why they were released in summer. There's a reason for that. If you understand these fragrances as perfumes that are really made to just freshen you up throughout the day, then they're wonderful. Do not buy them thinking about longevity. Do not buy them thinking about projection. There's a totally different concept of perfumery. I'm not saying this is not legit. This is a concept in the world of perfumery on its own. It's kind of a cologne body sensorial type of concept, which is totally legit. That is a part of perfumery too. And then there are also the kind of the projection beasts, the niche ouds, you know, there's every freaking niche perfume has to have oud nowadays. That's another thing on its own. So we have to understand these and approach them, the Les Eaux de Chanel, as fragrances that are light and that are supposed to feel like perfume water, cooling water on your body everywhere. I even spray it on my legs, you know, belly, whatever, the back of my neck. I kind of like lift the shirt in the back and I go on the back like, let's try to do it. It really feels amazing. And I just go for it over and over and over again. So it does last a very short amount of time, but the dry down that is there, and here on the chest area, I scented them. I spray it the most, let's say, and then I sense it out the most later on, because the clothes also keep kind of the fragrance more intact and close to my body, doesn't evaporate as quickly. So here it develops in a very interesting way. So when I smell it later on throughout the day, I really get that number 19 and Cristal vibe. Let's get to the ingredients, and this is very interesting. So Olivier Polge, what did you do to us? Top notes. I mean, it's full of citruses and limes, and just lemon, 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 lemon. So there's lime, lemon, bergamot, Sicilian orange, and basil, as well as petite graine or petite graine. And then the middle notes. We have jasmine. Remember the jasmine. Let's not forget it. It's important. We have the rose. We have green notes. And then we have the Hydian. Hydian. I actually looked up how to pronounce it properly. And then the base note, patchouli. Patchouli is very light in here. Jasmine and Hydian. Jasmine is also present in Cristal, Eau de Toilette. I'm talking about Eau de Toilette because it was the first one. Henri Robert is the nose behind it. And jasmine is also the fragrance, is also the ingredient that you find in Chanel number 19, the Pure Perfume. I have here a vintage 15 milliliter spray bottle. of the POUR perfume. Oh gosh, this is still with the Lebanese labdanum inside. Nothing beats it. So the jasmine is what unifies these three. But the Hydian, in my quest to find out how to pronounce it properly, there was Hadayani, Hadayan, Hydian, Hydion as well. But Hydian, Hidayani, this sounds like Hermione from Harry Potter. Hydian is a kind of an artificial, was built to represent an alternative to jasmine. Developed in the 60s, it is said that the first Dior Sauvage from the 60s had it in it. And I've been researching about the Hydian, and the Hydian is present in number 19 and in Deauville. Oddly enough, scientists, allegedly or apparently, have been asking themselves, do only animals activate and can sense and react to pheromones? In humans, it wasn't kind of triggered or wasn't believed to function the same way as it does in animals. But then the Hydian, when in a scent, apparently triggers the receptors that we have in our olfactive sins or smells or sensitivities, triggers the potential to smell out the pheromones of whoever's next to us. So that means that we do, in fact, have that potential, just like animals do, because we are animals at the end of the day. The only thing that separates us from animals is the fact that we can create art, actually. But let me read shortly what it actually says. And actually, all those Germans, they always find a way. And this is from an article, bottomlineincorporate.com. In the German study, researchers from the Ruhr University in Bochum and their colleagues at the Technical University in Dresden examined how receptors in the nasal cavity and certain areas of the human brain responded when 17 healthy male and female volunteers smelled the scent of Hydian. Chemical name methyl dihydrojasmonate. You see, jasmonate kind of has jasmine in it. A compound first synthesized in the 60s by a chemist seeking to reproduce the intoxicating scent of jasmine. The researchers then compared the results with what happened when the same participants smelled a common floral fragrance, phenylethyl alcohol, which smells like rose water. What they found is that the Hydian scent activated the, oh gosh, another word here, vomeronasal receptor, VN1R, that humans have in their noses. This is the organ that acts as a pheromone receptor in other mammals, but hasn't been shown to be active in humans until now. Just as importantly, using functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, the researchers also found that smelling Hydian activated areas in their brain's limbic system, which is associated with emotions, memory, and motivation, significantly more strongly than phenylethyl alcohol did. What's more, Hydian activated a specific region, and here we're getting to the point, Hydian activated a specific region in the hypothalamus that associated with the release of sex hormones. The effect was much stronger in women than in men, and the women in the study rated the fragrance as significantly more intense than men did. Just because the men, as usual, they probably also sensed it, but they just kind of expressed themselves in a more moderate way. They're not allowed to use these exceptional dramatic words because most men want to kind of act straight or are straight. So I wouldn't go by how men and women describe things in terms, words are there to trick us. They don't really describe the truth most of the time. So in other words, it appears that this scent may be the first to be discovered that directly turns women on. Here we get to that horrible thing, the panty dropper perfume. I hate that so much. Of course, there needs to be more research. This study wasn't designed to measure actual hormonal changes, so whether Hidian directly affects hormones, we'll have to wait for the next study. Hidian. Is it a hideous thing? We don't know. But it definitely makes me happy to smell this fragrance. And I think it's the Hidian and the jasmine. Interesting that Hidian was designed to function as jasmine instead of the jasmine. And yet in both these fragrances, Chanel put both Hidian and jasmine in it. As far as the notes listed tell us. I'm not a chemist. I can't dissect every molecule from this fragrance and tell you what's really in it. I just go on what, Chanel tells us. But that Hidian is amazing. And because we're talking about perfumes on a pheromonal level now, like more like kind of subconscious receptacles of our being, acknowledging the presence of a smell subconsciously, I would say this perfume is amazing. Even more so important to note, it's not really necessary that you smell it actively out on you. It does trigger a well-being of people around you. And this is something I appreciate very much about it when it comes to this particular smell. But that was the technical part. Now let's get down to business. It does take me on a journey. I have been bombarded by Chanel's social media. They've invited these people. Most of them have nothing to do with understanding Chanel fragrances. And I'm going to be the bitter Betty now that's like, why didn't they invite me? Actually, why didn't you invite me, Chanel? I would have given you a much better ride for your buck than all of these other people did that you invited to Deauville. Nonetheless, then the Orient Express train drove all of these influencers and editors of fashion magazines and beauty magazines. So they all drove in the Orient Express from Paris to Deauville. And then there they had a beach in the Chanel font, their names on the beach cabins. And then they had like a hotel and then music and everything. And they got to meet Olivier Polge, and he would explain the perfumes to them that he created, these new 3. And there was this whole kind of thing created around it. And yet I have the feeling that all that promotional thing kind of flopped, because whenever I would, put a hashtag in Instagram, Les Eaux de CHANEL, like only those images would pop up, but nobody else was really, and my images, because I was photographing my perfumes a lot as well. Like that would be kind of the stuff that would mostly pop up, but nobody else, it didn't really go as a hashtag. Far from viral, Chanel. So I think they kind of could have done a better job at it. But the idea, forget about who was invited to join the Orient Express drive to Deauville and who wasn't. Forget about that. Let's just think about the idea of being in another time and jumping onto the Orient Express and, going towards Deauville from Paris. I find that even more fascinating, a combination with this fragrance, than the idea of being on a Deauville beach. Because in fact, the title is not Deauville. This perfume is called Paris Deauville, so it's a connection of two. So I started thinking to myself, what is the duality of this fragrance? Where is Paris? Where is Deauville here? The Orient Express, or a train ride, is the connection between these two focal points. So I envision wearing this fragrance as the journey itself. And this is something very poetic to me. And I think Olivier Polge nailed it in that respect, or the marketing team for him. I don't know, whoever had the idea, brilliant idea. Why? Because the fragrance itself really, it's not, as we said in the beginning, it's not a projection beast. It's not a sillage and a longevity monster. It's a light and tamed, elegant creature from another time. So what does this mean? It's not Thierry Mugler's Alien or Angel. It's not Dior's Oud Ispahan. It doesn't smell on you for 3 days. That would represent the arrival into a city. Isfahan is a city, actually. There you have it. But it would represent really being in a city, in a focal point, in an important place. Everything that is a travel from A to B is more light because you're not connected to the ground. You are constantly in movement. You are going from A to B. And whilst on this journey is where the reality, the alternate parallel universe reality of Paris Deauville happens. It happens on that train where there is no firm and non-moving soil underneath your feet. But you're elevated from the ground because you are within a vehicle of some sorts which is constantly in movement. So you are in fact elevated from the ground and you're moving. So if there's always movement and always like wind blowing through you, you kind of can't stop for a second to smell what's really there, but it's always drifting away from you. It's always moving away from you. You're constantly rushing to catch something that is not really there. Why is it not there? Because Paris, we left it behind us. We are going towards Deauville. So we are not yet in Deauville, but we're not in Paris anymore either. So all we have is the memory of Paris, which is inside of us because it's physically not there anymore. And we have the longing and the desire and the ideas and the dreams of what our vacation is going to be like once we reach Deauville. But we're not there yet. So we can only kind of visualize something in our minds, as well as we can only visualize in our minds and memory something that was prior to leaving Paris. So we are in this state where the past is gone, the future isn't there yet, and the present is in constant shift. Now, the present is all we have, really. Future and past don't exist. But the present is in constant mutation. The second I say now, it's already back there. It's gone. And there's a now again, and another now, and another now. And that's how this fragrance smells. It's a constant jump. And it's a constant leap of, I don't want to say leap of faith. There's nothing dangerous here. You don't have to like be scared to jump into a black void and hopefully land on something safe. No, it's very safe. It's a comfortable, pleasant ride. And I'm loving this ride because it does not bring with it any fear of the future. And it doesn't linger on as a bitter aftertaste of what was in the past. It's not like we're carrying some bad experience from Paris with us and we're hoping to cleanse it when we arrive to Deauville. No, we had a good time in Paris and we are optimistic that the time in Deauville will be just as good or even better. And that ride is soft. Maybe you could describe it as being a little bit fuzzy and blurry. Let's say maybe you had a party, or you had a wonderful affair in Paris and your whole body is still tingly, or you're a little bit, maybe you have a little bit of a hangover, so you're a little bit fluffy in the head still. But it's it's not one of those nasty hangovers where you just don't feel good, you're nauseous. No, it's just, you're still a little bit, half of you is still kind of numb-ish. You're a little bit still asleep, even though you're awake in this gorgeous Orient Express. And you feel like you're in this soft white linen and Egyptian cotton pillows, and you're just like in these pillows while you're being driven from A to B. And you're just going, ah, oh, yeah. And, you're drifting. And part of that drifting also means, I'm not saying losing consciousness, but losing the sense of the smell. That's why I'm fine with this one being very light. I just needed in tiny woofs and whiffs from time to time when I refresh it, when I kind of respray it like this. See, you can really go on and on and on. And it's never overpowering, never overbearing, but it's very, very sensual, nevertheless. And I'm happy to have found a fragrance that doesn't kill everybody in a radius of 40 meters or 40 miles around me when I wear it because it's overpowering. I have those perfumes as well. I have those days as well when I like those perfumes. But right now, I'm really feeling this one. It's gorgeous. It is really that ride, that Orient Express ride between A and B, and you're not so sure how B is going to be, and A is a fluffy memory because you're still kind of, recuperating from the night before. What is also interesting to note, because all three of these, Biarritz, Deauville, and Venice, are so light, and I have been really mostly using only the three of them every day, it cleans your palate. It cleans your receptors or receptacles or whatever in your nose, so that once I go for, and you've seen my top of the month of June perfumes, number 28 La Pausa, which from the Les Exclusives is one of the most delicate and fleeting, after the Eau de Cologne, of course, fragrance. But after these light ones, after you've used them for many, many, many days, and then all of a sudden you switch to 28 La Pausa, all of a sudden 28 La Pausa is a projection beast. Longevity is insane. You smell it the whole day because you've cleansed your whole palate. It's like when you eat sushi, they actually say the ginger, you should eat one rice thing with sushi and fish, and then you take the little, the bit of ginger, and then you take another sushi. And you do that because ideally you're supposed to clean the palate of the taste. So you have one sushi, then you take the ginger to clean the taste away from the mouth and prepare your mouth, create kind of a neutral ground almost for the next sushi. This is kind of like the ginger. Within the Chanel perfumes, you could see, their mass releases, their Les Exclusives, and now the Les Eaux. You could see that as kind of the sushi plate, and the most intense fish dishes are the Les Exclusives, some of them, the more oriental ones, and then you have kind of the lighter plates with some of the mass releases. You have some of those sushis, when you have like a plate with all mixed types, there's always some you like less and some you like more. And, some of the mass releases we like, Gabriel goes a little bit to the side, And then this little fella here is the ginger. Not saying that he's worth less. He's vital. And the ginger is essential to enjoy the sushi even more. So I see this as a connection between other Chanel fragrances as well. Not just as a connection within a travel from A to B, but also an interesting connection between the more powerful and stronger fragrances. This one makes you appreciate them even more. That doesn't minder in any way or diminish the value of this one. Actually, it makes it even more noble because this one has less of an ego. And I like that from time to time in a fragrance, when a fragrance lets go of the ego and is not so overpowering, but lets you kind of dream away and be more independent in your own individuality, rather than a perfume kind of putting a lid on top of you, you being the pot, and then just kind of pressuring you into that particular shape. This one doesn't. This one is so sophisticated because it requires that the wearer has already a precise character. And I think that's why some younger people that are still kind of developing, are still in their development phase, that are still kind of on the search for themselves. I mean, we always all are, all our lives. We're always going to be on the search for ourselves, obviously. But when you're really, really very young, I know a lot of young people that really prefer stronger perfumes. But that is something typical. When I was super young, I also went for the beasts. But now I understand the subtleties more of these elegant, softer creatures because I know more who I am. So I don't need that strong fragrance always around me to kind of help me dominate my surroundings, because I'm more sure of myself. I'm more secure of myself, and I need to show off less. I don't need to show off. Same thing is happening with the way I dress. I mean, I do like, fashion. Obviously, I love it. I live for it. But I don't have this urge to, Supreme comes out with a collaboration with Louis Vuitton. I don't have that urge to wear it just to show to everybody else around me that I belong to this kind of hip group that can afford to purchase this, or that has the right connections to even find an available piece in the store. Same, for Yeezys and stuff like that. It's like, I like certain things and I don't care anymore if they're out of fashion or not. To me, they are style. And as Coco says, style is forever, fashion comes and goes. But anyway, this fragrance is really that. It really shows a lot of maturity. And it also, to me, shows that Olivier Polge has matured within the realm of Chanel perfumes, because he is showing, you know, Misia was his first, and it's just such a smack in your face. It's so powerful and strong. I mean, I love the Eau de Toilette of Misia, I'm not saying, but these are more gentle, they're more toned down, they're more effortless. They're not trying hard. Chanel's marketing is trying super hard to, in a niche way, hype these perfumes, and it's epically failing. But the perfume itself is not trying. And I love that about it. I love that it's so effortless. The bottle is also so effortless. They say that it took them 2 years to design. I don't care how long it took them to design it. It's a beautiful bottle. If it took you a week, if you had like this, you know, strike of genius and you made it in a week, or if it took you 2 years, because you're not a genius, if it took you 2 years to design it, I don't care. The result is what I care for, and I'm loving the result of the bottle. Still Chanel, at least to 100 ml, so we could take this on board with us when we fly. What else is there to say about this? I have also tested because I was given the samples of the shower gel and the body lotion. I have to say the shower gel is even more fleeting than the perfume. I guess it's going to cost around, I don't know, 60 to 80 euro, no clue, but I don't think it's worth it. Very, very, very fleeting. And I did the shower gel, then I put the body lotion on top one day, and then the perfume on top. Then on another day, I did just the shower gel with perfume, no body lotion. Then on another day, I did like a scented less shower gel that I have, no brand, and then just the body lotion on top. Then one day I did the body lotion with the perfume. So I did all sorts of alternatives and variations. Not necessary to do it. If you really want to go for these bath products, I would go for the body lotion. It's kind of green yellowy, the cream color, almost medicinal in the way it looks, kind of slightly gross, kind of yellowy green color. Dense for a lotion. It's more cream than lotion. It is a lotion, but it's a good quality lotion in terms of density. It's more dense than the Chanel No. 5 L'Eau hand cream. The consistency of the body lotion of the Les Eaux is more dense than the hand cream of No. 5 L'Eau. So that's already saying a lot. The smell, it doesn't last forever, but it's like Deauville with a hint of cream. It's more oily in its kind of density on the skin. Applying perfume on top, to me, on top of the body lotion, did not extend the longevity of the fragrance, I have to say. It did change it a bit, however, because the cream, as opposed to the perfume, it has a creamy smell to that. Oily smell inside of it makes it smell a bit warmer. And so, but the perfume itself smells a bit cooler. And so it transforms the fragrance. It turns it a bit warmer, which is not a bad thing. It's just a different fragrance altogether. So it's still Deauville, but I prefer it without the cream mixed together. So for those of you who might, once you try it, for those of you who really might like the cream on the body, maybe you should just purchase the cream without the perfume. Again, longevity, minimal. We're talking on my skin minutes, really. 1 hour tops. You know, the cream, and also together the combination cream and shower gel, longevity is not long. It just gives you that fresh sensation once you're out of the shower, but then when you put on your clothes and everything, it's gone. If you just want to spend that dreamy, luxurious morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're doing your bath rituals, you want to, you know, feel fabulous because you're using a Chanel shower gel. You want to feel fabulous because you're using a Chanel body lotion. And then you want to feel fabulous to top it all off with the Chanel fragrance. Then go for it. You know, do all three. It's a wonderful ritual of loving yourself. But if you are thinking to extend the longevity of the perfume by putting on the body lotion, I would be careful. Don't blind buy that stuff. Ask for a sample. Try it out at home first to see if that really works for you. For me, it didn't work as a longevity boost. It didn't work. If you like I like the consistency and the density on my skin of the cream. For that, I really liked it. But of course, you could get another cream for the fraction of the price that also nourishes your skin, and it doesn't cost that much. You know, So think about that. But anyway, it was interesting to try it out, and it was interesting to test it. I might be buying the body lotion just to have a bigger amount of it, because, you know, these samples are 7 milliliter samples of the cream and of the body lotion and of the shower gel. So they go really quickly, and you need a bit more to kind of really test things out. But yeah, that's my review of Paris Deauville. It's a trip. It's a travel. It's an ongoing travel, and you have to keep spraying it because you keep moving. You know, you're constantly in movement, and hence that smell as you're moving and shifting is important to always be around you and present. And it's a wonderful, and the Hydian again. Maybe it really struck hard with me, but it really, really peps up my mood. Deauville just boosts my mood, you know, and I think it's that subconscious smell of the Hydian that really, in my personal case, just wakes me up. This stuff works better than coffee, that I gotta say. Because when I smell this in the morning, I'm ready to go. Coffee kind of gets me ready to go, but takes a bit longer. There you have it, guys. I hope you like this review. So let's have this coffee together. If you haven't already but wish to consider subscribing to my channel here on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And I know I should always be saying this at the beginning of my videos to make people aware of it, because a lot of you don't look or don't watch until the very end, but I am on Patreon as well. So if you wish to support the channel, you could, you know, pledge and become a patron on Patreon to see exclusive videos only available there, as well as exclusive photos of the Fashion Bunker channel only available there. Guys, let's, you know, we've been on this YouTube journey and travel together since many years already, and that's why I'm loving this one even more, because it kind of represents this journey that I am on while on YouTube as well. So it's very close to my heart on an emotional level as well. And Paris Deauville, as well as you together, combined even more so, help me to never give up on love. Love you guys. See you soon. Take care. Bye.